This group of stories was written by a woman, Marie de France. She lived in the late 12th century. She actually identifies herself in several of her works that her name is Marie and that she's from France. There's been a great deal of speculation about who exactly she was. It seems most likely that she was somehow associated with the court of King Henry II of England and his queen Eleanor of Aquitaine. Some have speculated that she was actually an illegitimate half-sister of King Henry II. So she's definitely a member of court and courtly nobility. She knows this community and society very well. And there's the possibility that she was from the most elite strata. She's a very well-educated woman. We know that in some of her other works, she translated Latin Aesopic fables into the vernacular, into Anglo-Norman French. It's the Anglo-Norman version of French that was dominant in England after the conquest and in northern France that these lays are written in. If you look at the whole population in the Middle Ages, it's only a very slender elite that can read and write. Mostly that elite is clerics. But if you look at non-clerics, they would all be nobles, and women are more likely to be literate than men until about the 13th and 14th century when there's a spread of male literacy. And this is mainly because elite women were responsible for the education, particularly the religious instruction of their children. Therefore, they have at least some functional literacy. The emergence of a public sphere is one that's very important to women's status in history. And you can see very clearly even elite women losing power as their mode of influence within the court is increasingly circumvented. Officials and more bureaucratic institutions get power, and personal influence is less the dominant means of exercising power. Increasingly, the education of heirs is given over to professionals, to tutors, and a whole coterie of officials. They would still have control over daughters and their education, but that's more to prepare them to be married off as political pawns. The more direct influence that they exercised over those who would wield power is definitely diminished across the Central Middle Ages. These stories, even though they're highly amusing, actually give you insight into this changing political situation and how it affects women, as well as insight into a whole range of cultural issues. Still, it is exceptional for a woman to have the degree of literacy and to actually promote herself as an author, as Marie de France did. She's clearly very confident of her writing and is interested in taking credit for it. And we have some evidence of resistance to that. There's actually a contemporary English monk, Denis Paramus, who mentions this Dame Marie who writes stories and how they're very popular, that many men and women like them, but particularly women. He makes a point of saying that they're untrue. But of course, they're meant to be entertaining stories and often have this element of the supernatural or the magical.